This video contains elements that are not suitable for children under the age of 14. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, got that out of my system. Let's talk about music now. Hey guys, Sean Fay-Wolfe of Diamond X Studios here, and pop music right now is far and away the best it's ever been since I started reviewing, because of course it fucking is.
And if I'm being honest, it might have been a nightmare.
I'll be completely honest, I feel like I've been kind of dragging my feet for the past couple weeks. I know that I should be pumping out content like a coked up spider monkey, considering that I'm literally trapped inside my house just like everybody else as we wait for the apocalypse to blow over, but I've been having trouble finding the motivation to make this video for two main reasons. The first reason is that, in the midst of all the everything going on, it seems bizarre to spend my time talking about something as ultimately superfluous as pop music, and to be clear, I know that's something I just need to buck up and get over. God knows we need superfluous entertainment now more than ever, and I'm blessed with an audience of people who I can put my time and effort into providing some levity, giving me a purpose and you guys something to hopefully look forward to during these trying times. However, the second reason that making this video has been so difficult is that I just don't have a ton to say about most of these songs, and I mean that in the best possible way. As much as it might seem like a sick joke, the fact of the matter is, as the coronapocalypse has ground the entire globalized world to a standstill and created a horrifying paradigm shift that will have repercussions for decades to come, the American public has responded by streaming some of the best music I've heard on the charts this century. I'm not even gonna attempt to draw any correlation between this surge in quality and the current state of the world, considering that most of this music was around before the virus even hit the US, and the biggest new trend is a bunch of large-scale 80s dance pop that seems to have all sprung up at the same time, completely out of nowhere with no warning. I'm sure there are dots to connect in there somewhere, but frankly, considering the way that 2020 has gone so far, I think I'm better off trying to not pick apart why these good things are happening and just clinging to them for dear life instead. I ain't got red bottoms on, and life definitely ain't good, but damn it, this chart is. Let's take a look at it. Unfortunately, the first week of spring this year decided to fall on the first of two back-to-back Lil Uzi Vert album bombs, and so once again my album bomb rules will be going into effect. This time with a slight change. From now on, I will only review the highest debuting song from an album bomb, and only if it debuted in the top 10. This way I can avoid talking about a bunch of songs by the same artists, which will probably be gone in a couple weeks anyways. Therefore, I'm not going to talk about Lo Mein, Silly Watch, or P2 by Lil Uzi Vert, and I'll be replacing them with the highest ranking established songs outside the top 20. If you want to know my thoughts on them, I'll be doing a quick ranking of the actual top 20 with those songs included at the end of the video. So now, with all those caveats out of the way, let's also get the one terrible song out of the way. I hope Rudy Gobert coughs in your face, you utterly worthless piece of music. There's nothing in the bad tier this week, so let's get through the shit I don't care about quickly.
Bad bitches only, ain't no mediocre. No, don't want no mediocre. I won't hit no mediocre, yeah.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make them drop dead, you a killer.
This song is called Intentions. It is the second single off of Justin Bieber's 5th studio album, Changes. The first single off of that album was called Yummy.
Yeah, you got that yummy, yum, that yummy, yum, that yummy, yummy.
Everybody else I saw talking about this song had a visceral negative reaction to it. I did not. I mean, I wanted to. I knew that those reactions were right and accurate. After all, Yummy is a very bad song. I was aware that I should hate it, and I felt weird that I didn't. But eventually I realized that it wasn't my fault. This is simply who Justin Bieber is. It's a talent that I've found is unique to him and him alone. I don't know of any other man on the planet who can sing a song comparing the taste of his wife's vagina to fish aspic and have it leave almost no impact. Justin Bieber is not boring. That's the wrong word. calling him boring is far too generous. Because you see, boring implies some kind of substance, something tangible, something that at least attempts to be something, however bare bones, half-assed, or ineffective that attempt might be. Justin Bieber is less than boring. He is nothing. He takes nothing, and he gives nothing. He is worthy of neither derision nor outrage, and his existence is only worth noting in the context of asking why anybody would ever actively choose to pay any thought, mind, or attention to literally nothing. Intentions marks the moment that Justin Bieber stopped trying to be something and became aware of and embraced the nothing that he is. And that is all I have to say about it. Well, this is obnoxious. Could someone please remind me why we're keeping Demi Lovato around again? So, turns out Lil Uzi Vert has enough clout to have his new album be one of the biggest debuts of the entire streaming era. I did not know that.
I want it that way. I want it that way.
I know it might seem kind of strange that this formless, shapeless whining is above something more straightforward and cleanly produced like Intentions. I mean, this is nothing but Uzi taking a hook that every millennial is required by law to have spliced into their DNA and using it to blubber out a bunch of hilariously awful lines that would be quite meme-worthy if they were actually intelligible. However, like most of Uzi's more melodic stuff, I find that it functions more as an abstract wave of formless angst than it does as a song, so it's got that going for it at least. Also, there is kinda something about that hook that lends itself well to emo rap, and even if the lyrics are bad, they're still detailed enough that I'm sure there must be some method to the madness, even if I don't really care to figure it out. I guess what I'm getting at is, no matter what else you want to say about it, this does provoke a reaction out of me. That reaction may be, why did you make this? But you know what? The fact that I'm even asking that question comes with the implication that if I were to ask him, I believe that Uzi would have an answer for me, which is more than I can say about that Justin Bieber song. So, I guess this is a thing.
This that hot girl bummer anthem, turn it up and throw attention. Fuck you, and you.
I don't hate this. I'm probably wrong about that, but I don't really care. Hot Girl Bummer seems to be the requisite music critic punching bag of 2020, and frankly, I don't think a better punching bag has ever existed or will ever exist again. It's a pseudo-hip-hop song by the white college emo douche that made Do Re Mi, which rips the title from a well-loved sleeper hit by an up-and-coming hip-hop queen, which it is now outperformed by a huge margin, and comes complete with cheap-ass production, lyrics that show both a level of misogyny rarely observed outside of the darkest, most unwashed crevices of 4chan, and a clear and obvious contempt for the listener, and it's still charting long after its streaming peak due to a massive radio push fueled by label Payola. I genuinely can't think of anything else I could possibly add to this song to make it more of an example of everything wrong with modern music. And yet, despite all of that, I personally harbor almost no ill will towards this song whatsoever. I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to be a contrarian. I actually have a legitimate answer as to why I don't see this song as the next Someone You Loved or Gummo the same way everyone else seems to. Granted, that explanation is fairly intricate, and the explanation is not going to be a short one, so sit down, grab the popcorn, and buckle in, because this is gonna be a doozy. You see, the first thing you have to understand is... Oh wait, shit, I just realized. That wasn't actually the new Demi Lovato song I talked about earlier, was it? Oh yeah, I remember that one, the friggin' Sarah Bareilles song or whoever it was from like 4 years ago. Yeah, sorry about that, my bad guys, I'm sorry. How does the actual song go again? Oh, yeah, no, this one isn't all that bad. Go ahead, just bump that up a couple places.
I'm way too good at listening. All these comments fucking up my energy.
In a pop scene where a full-fledged 80s dance pop revival sprung up pretty much overnight with no warning or build-up in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, I can still say that this is the song in the top 20 that feels the most out of step with the times. It's clearly trying to ride on the coattails of Lose You to Love Me, you know, trying to be the big comeback single that addresses all of the artist's personal baggage that people have been wondering about during their hiatus outside the public eye. I'm obviously not a fan of either song, but I do understand why Selena Gomez went went to number 1, while Demi Lovato barely cracked the top 20. Not only is Lose You to Love Me a personal growth song that stems from a breakup between two celebrities orders of magnitude bigger than Demi Lovato ever was, but Selena's also done a much better job at chasing trends than Demi has, spending the last 4 years releasing a bunch of downbeat drone pop that set her up for a grandiose, moody breakup song produced by the master of downbeat himself, Phineas O'Connell. Meanwhile, I Love Me reminds me more of Halsey's Nightmare crossed with Rachel Platten's Fight Song, trying to split the difference between a dorky-sounding keyboard line and the soaring bombast that Demi's known for. Fortunately, that particular blend of awful flavors cancel out each other's flaws, dragging us back to a thoroughly mediocre middle ground. The only reason I caved and put it this high on the list is because it's a much more personal song than Lose You to Love Me, and I can imagine that the lyrics would strike a chord with certain listeners, especially if you're invested in Demi's personal life. It's not doing it for me though. The production is just a little bit too chintzy and uneven. The best I can say about it is that as far as industry humping radio filler goes, you could definitely do worse. At the very least, I will grant that it's better than that stupid Maroon 5 song that refuses to die. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna put that song above this one though.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not.
Oh, and I've also decided that this is in the decent tier now.
Baby, why don't you just meet me in the middle?
There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain.
Okay, look, I've been on the Maroon 5 hate bandwagon just as long as everybody else, and this song does not change that. Seeing this hack get back into the top 2 after Girls Like You and the world's most miserable Chippendale show does piss me off on principle alone. And yet, there's something about this one, isn't there? I know that the group consensus does seem to consider this a worse song than Girls Like You. It's a spare acoustic song that allows itself to echo around the space as it talks about all of the great memories they've had to leave behind while the ambiance of a crowd roars around them, and pretty much everybody has taken this as what it was probably intended as, a reflection on all the precious moments that Maroon 5 has soundtracked in our lives over the past 2 decades. You know, like this one. And this one. And who could forget this one?
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight.
Oh, and quick side note, could someone please explain to me how we ended up with 2 back-to-back Super Bowl performers who have platinum-selling singles with Howling on them? But anyways, yeah. I totally understand why a look back at the glory days of America's least favorite band provided by a naked Adam Levine and basically no one else rubbed people the wrong way. Here's the secret. Just pretend it's not that.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday.
Look, I may hate Maroon 5, but that's only because I think they're an unambitious band that makes boring radio filler garbage that no one cares about, which leeches away airtime from more interesting, deserving acts. I don't hate Sugar and Girls Like You because they're Maroon 5 songs. I hate Maroon 5 because they made Sugar and Girls Like You. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm not averse to liking Maroon 5 songs, even modern Maroon 5 songs, if I think there are elements in them that work. And I'll just come out and say it, this song does manage to pull on a heartstring or two. Maybe it's just because I have also spent a lot of time recently reflecting on memories of better days, like, you know, a month ago when the world was still normal. But Adam Levine's spare focus on the mournful vocals as a crowd of people cheers on his moment of introspection hits a sort of accidental sweet spot that just works for me. And the other big sticking point I see people having with this song is the melody. I mean, he's not even trying to hide it. It's not just the chords, he's literally ripping the melody directly from Pachelbel's Canon, one of the most famous pieces of music ever written. Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but the melody to Pachelbel's Canon is absolutely beautiful, and therefore, so is this.
Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way.
I'm fully aware that this song is played out, tired, and exceptionally lame. It's entirely the product of a burned out, cynical man trying to spin gold out of the least amount of effort possible, and you know what? He fucking succeeded. It doesn't make sense, and it's not fair, but it's just the way things are, and we are far from the point where we can afford to look our gift horses in the mouth. So you know what? Maroon 5 made a song I kind of like. Deal with it. Okay, well, you don't have to deal with it that much. It's still only number 15 out of 20. And hey, at least you could take solace in the fact that this wasn't the only song from last season's Mad Tier that grew on me.
More life, 'cause I'm heartless. Said I'm heartless. So much pussy be falling out the pocket.
Yeah, this one's alright. I still don't love it, and I still think there was a lot of wasted potential here, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this song simply didn't deserve to be in the same tier as Justin Bieber and Black Bear. The production here is still very interesting, even if the vocals don't really click the way they're supposed to. I may have willingly returned to Memories more than I've returned to Heartless, but I have infinitely more respect for a song that aims for a 10 out of 10 and walks away with a 6 than I do for a song that would be wholly content with a 5 that just got the one extra point out of sheer luck. Nicely done, Metro Boomin. I'm looking forward to what you do next. And as for you, Abel, we're going to be talking about what you did next as we take a look at... So I was doing some research and trying to find some interesting facts about people in the top 20, and as it turns out, the artist behind one of the biggest songs in the entire country right now is actually from my home state. Yeah, it turns out that he was actually born in Providence, Rhode Island, just a half hour away from where I live. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That hardly ever happens at all. So, who was it again?
All for the gram. Bitches love the gram.
Oh, wait, shit.
Huh. Maybe that's why I like this lame-ass song so much.
She think I'm an asshole. She think I'm a player. She keep running back though, only 'cause I pay her. Roxanne.
Look, Roxanne is a song that everybody, including me, is gonna forget about in a year's time. I might have listened to it more than I care to admit, but that's only because it's too catchy not to. I'm well aware that the song's appeal is fleeting, and it won't be long before it's forgotten for the next catchy little tune that pops into our heads. However, in all my research, I did actually find one very interesting tidbit about Roxanne. Apparently this song was actually written about Max's girlfriend from the Goofy movie. You know, the one who definitely has at least 4 digits of search results on Rule 34. Yeah, I was reading a very interesting interview that Arizona Zervis did with Billboard, and he revealed that apparently a Goofy movie came out the year he was born. He used to watch it all the time on VHS as a kid, and Roxanne was apparently the first crush that he ever had. Apparently he would go on imaginary dates with her and pretend that he was her boyfriend and all that cute shit kids do, but then once he actually started dating for real, he just got his heart smashed over and over again by girl after girl, and that led him down a path towards hard drugs to cope with the feelings of isolation and worthlessness, which he's apparently still trying to work through to this day. And so apparently the song Roxanne isn't just about this guy pursuing this ditzy valley girl. It's actually Arizona projecting his own struggles and hardships onto the imaginary girl he loved when he was younger, reflecting on how corrupted he had become since the innocent days of his childhood, and trying to conceptualize who this childhood love of his would have been if she had followed him down the same path of hardship, drug abuse, and self-loathing. Nah, I'm just screwing with you. None of that is true. This is just an empty calorie pop tune with no backstory by a total nobody. Next!
Say he likes a good time.
Is it treacherous for me to say that I like this song just as much, if not more, than Havana? Screw it. I don't care. I mean, my biggest question is why Camila didn't push this as the big single from her new album from the start, because Havana was far and away the biggest impact she will ever have on pop culture, and pardon me for stating the glaringly obvious, but this is literally just Havana 2. There are some differences, most notably swapping out Young Thug's Uncomfortable feature for a much more focal DaBaby verse, but let's be real, My Oh My is still the middle to Havana's stay, the trip to its boot up, if you will. Beyond sounding the same, they're also both about Camila dating a bad boy from out of town. I mean, hell, the most substantial difference in the narrative is which parent she's pissing off.
My mama doesn't trust him, and Papa says he got Milo in him.
But hey, I liked Havana, and so I ended up liking this one too. It's really as simple as that. Solid choral harmonies, nice cocky DaBaby feature, sweet trumpet hits at the start of every other measure on the verses, and the cherry on top of all of this is the commenters under that video who have taken the opening lines in that first verse and memed them to death, plugging in a ton of people who fit the black leather jacket and bad reputation descriptions such as Ghost Rider, Jughead, Dr. Phil, Waluigi, and my personal favorite,
A little bit older, a black leather jacket, temptation, insatiable habits.
I turned to an addict, I brought me a paddock, I brought her a baby one. Yeah.
Huh. Uzi can do a pretty decent Offset impression. It's good to know. I mean, this song isn't going to have any staying power, either on the charts or in my mind, but I can appreciate a good mindless flow and far-out electronic twinkles as much as the next guy. Really, the only other thing I have to say about this is how strange it is that this song and the similarly upbeat electronica Futsal Shuffle 2020 managed to outpeak EXO Tour Life. That, honestly, almost feels as wrong as MC Hammer's Addams Family rap theme song charting higher than You Can't Touch This, which is a real thing that happened if you didn't know. Well, at the very least, the highest peaking Uzi song is, and shall forever remain, Bad and Bougie, which is a masterpiece in retrospect. I hope that we can all admit that. You know, I really should be thrilled that this artist is in the top 20, but it's 2020, so of course this is how it had to happen.
Didn't even notice, no punches that to roll with. You got to keep it focused, you wanna say so.
So apparently she decided that for her big break into the mainstream, Doja Cat would not be taking the Cardi B approach of just brute forcing her way onto the scene through sheer, bluntly uncompromised personality, but rather she'd be taking the Nicki Minaj approach of playing the pop princess game and sanding off most of her edges by hopping on that massive throwback trend that we apparently have now. Thankfully, this song is more on the super bass side of that tactic than the Starship side. Doja still has her rap verse where she lets the odder side of her delivery shine, though even for a pop and B love song, I would have expected more than a watered down Roman rip from the woman who brought us Bitch I'm a Cow. I could definitely whine about Doja Cat muting her streak of oddness, but she does have a great singing voice and the song sounds lovely. If the color pink were a sound, this is what it would be. And while it may be kind of repetitive, I don't really care when the vocals and productions flow over the ears this sweetly. I'm not gonna lie, seeing this song gaining so much traction makes me feel like I've stepped in a time machine back to 2011. In more ways than one. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Let me check my chest, my breath right quick.
Yep, this track, and most of Doja's album for that matter, was produced by Dr. Luke, hiding under a different name because the industry has enough integrity to blacklist him, but not quite enough to actually get rid of him. And look, my stance on issues like this has remained consistent. I believe that bad people can make good art. I think these things have to be taken on a case-by-case basis, and personally, considering that the content of this song is about a woman offering sex fully and explicitly consensually, I personally am able to overlook the man who made it and consider it to be a good song. However, if you don't feel the same way, I completely understand, and my affection for this song hasn't stopped me from not buying or streaming it because I don't want to give him money, nor does it make me any less uncomfortable when I see that someone on YouTube has decided to use this song as the basis for a female empowerment megamix.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy.
They say he likes a good time.
Yeah, do you want to tell her or should I?
When the bones are good, the rest don't matter. Yeah, the pain could peel, the glass could shatter.
Not gonna lie, I liked this one right from the start. The whole idea of people being able to weather any hardship thrown at them if they've got a good foundation of beliefs and people supporting them is one that personally means a lot to me. But holy shit does this song hit especially hard right now. Because you know what? Our bones are being put to the test right now. Whether you're talking about the bones of your house, the bones of your country, the bones of your family, or even just your own personal bones. And you know what? If you've got those good bones in you, that strong core is gonna keep you standing no matter what you put it through. And you're gonna make it through this. We are going to make it through this. I mean, the United States is being run by a group of hapless morons, and they're going to make this whole situation as difficult for everybody as possible, but that's the paint peeling and the glass shattering. Despite their best efforts, I have faith that at the end of the day, this country is still going to be here, and we are going to bounce back from this, because you know what? We've got some solid bones. Well, you know, except for the endemic corruption, the imperialist warmongering, and the geriatric degraded infrastructure and social safety net, but that's a different conversation. So, have you ever had a song where you thought it was really solid? You know, you just really liked it and think it's an all-around, just a really good pop song, and then everyone else around you thinks that it's the second coming of Christ? I'm sorry, I just don't get the hype. I mean, it's good. It's really good. The melody is strong, the production is well layered and high energy, the Weeknd's vocals are strong and have incredible finesse to them, particularly in the verses as he works his inflections around those vocals exceptionally well. The song seems to be patient zero of this whole 80s revival craze, which popped up just as quickly and out of nowhere as the worldwide pandemic, making said craze's timing horribly jarring. But I'm sorry, I just don't get how anybody could even think this is close to the best song the Weeknd ever made. Abel has an incredible variety of tracks to his name, most of them genre-defining classics of the 2010s, and most of which could not have been made by anybody else. The Hills uses his brutally jagged edge to create a vortex of fascinating anguish. Can't Feel My Face is the exact same type of throwback as Blinding Lights, but with more variety and more hooks. Starboy and I Feel It Coming have Daft Punk, and The Night's got a fascinating story to tell. Blinding Lights does sound fantastic, but much like Say So, it just kinda sounds like the same 2 or 3 musical ideas repeated over and over again for 3.5 minutes. I just don't see any magic here. No unique angle that takes the song to the next level. I did strongly consider this for the excellent tier because hardy har har, the bones are just that good, but in the end it just felt like something was missing. If anyone wants to help me find that missing piece, then who knows, maybe this song will be higher next time. Frankly, I'm kind of considering going around and giving handshakes and hugs to every random stranger I meet, because I'm pretty sure the end result of that would be far preferable to what you guys are going to do to me when you find out that I put this song in the excellent tier above Blinding Lights.
It's cool, man. Got red bottoms on. Life is good. You know what I mean? Like,
100,000 for the cheapest ring on a nigga finger, little bitch. Ooh, I done flew one out to Spain to be in my domain, automata, bitch. Ooh.
Okay, let's get this out of the way up front. No, this is not Sicko Mode Part 2. Just because it's got 2 different sections, one of which has Drake on it, that does not mean it's anywhere near as dynamic and well intertwined as Sicko Mode. Anyone who says it is will be punched. So now that I've got that out of the way, you're probably wondering why I find this to be a better song than the apparent messiah of the music world. And as much as I'd love to tell you that I have a good answer to that question, I really don't. The best I can do is that while this obviously isn't the first time that Drake and Future have collaborated, this song brings out the best and most appealing traits in both of them the same way Jumpman brought out the worst. Life is Good isn't trying to build hype or get all up in your face with its flexing. It actually kind of gives me Snoop Dogg vibes, where the two of them just lay back and bask in the glow of being 2 of the biggest and most influential rappers in the game without trying to prove anything. It's a hell of a vibe, and the 2 parts, while they might seem kind of thoughtlessly slapped together, do have a nice symbiosis with each other. Drake is more articulate than usual as he does his usual thing over a really nice melody, and Future puts on a relaxed, warbling baritone flow that's oddly satisfying. I think it's the woo at the beginning of each bar that really sells it.
I'm trying to tote that Drake or London, and it's extended. Woo, they gotta stretch a nigga, how we gon' die for this shit? Woo.
So yeah, Life is Good. A perfect low-key trap banger for a time when life is most assuredly the wall by the nostalgia critic. I mean, not good.
Run away, maybe you don't understand what I'm going through.
I think I actually finally figured out the reason why this song didn't fully click for me for the longest time, but that reason is actually relevant to the discussion of another song in an upcoming video of mine, so we'll talk about it then. I could analyze this one, but I'm not going to. It's basically perfect and we all know it.
Just let me adore you, like it's the only thing I'll ever do.
I don't know, there's just nothing wrong with it. Nothing to be improved. It is the best possible version of itself, and this is just what a pop song is supposed to sound like. It's not a song that's going to change your life or anything, but every element in it, from the choir harmonies leading into the chorus, to the synth that goes in the post-chorus, to those crunchy guitar hits in the bridge, it's all perfectly placed. And unlike Sign of the Times, which really should be the better song but isn't, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Also, the music video made me tear up over a fish, and I'm pretty sure I'm not okay with that.
You make me wanna cry.
This song is also the best possible version of itself, but what it's trying to be is a bit more nebulous than Adore You, so I still need some time to figure out how to describe just why this hits such a sweet spot for me. After all, I have a hunch that this is not going to be the last time I talk about it. As for the many people out there who hate this song, the only piece of advice I can offer is this. Listen to the song again, but try thinking about it as just another pop song, rather than a weird, obnoxious novelty that you're supposed to hate. I'm not saying people's distaste for Dance Monkey isn't legitimate, I'm just saying that this is the type of song that a lot of people are just going to dismiss out of hand without thinking too hard about it. So just make sure that you didn't fall into that trap before you bag on it too much. Yeah, remember when this song first hit number one, when Kobe Bryant was still alive and Joe Biden had no path to the nomination, and the biggest global concerns were the Australian bushfires and the possibility of World War III? Because I do not.
She said the nigga so got cash out. Told him wipe a nigga no. Say slash slash.
I knew this song was going to be a hit from the moment I heard it. Roddy Ricch had already established himself with Ballin' and some other high-profile guest features, and he was an extremely talented guy with a lot of hype behind him. I was sure that there was no way that a song from that guy jam-packed with this many hooks wasn't going to become big. But, like, 11 weeks at number one big?
Bitch don't wear no shoes in my house.
In a sense, it's understandable why I've seen so many people call this the Old Town Road of 2020. It's a song by a relatively unknown newcomer which blew the fuck up off of TikTok, it's anchored by an unusual gimmick, and it had a double-digit run at number one that effortlessly held up industry-backed songs by much larger artists below it, including one who basically tried to claim that number one spot by birthright. I mean, those people are wrong about that, considering that Roddy Ricch did have a lot of buzz before the box and was poised for a breakthrough, and the song isn't a genre-blending burst of lightning in a bottle. It's honestly a pretty by-the-numbers trap song. Just, you know, an extremely good one. This song is basically A Boogie's look back at it, just replacing the Michael Jackson machine gun sound with a windshield wiper, a textbook upgrade, and upping the intensity of the background instrumental to give the entire song a much higher sense of power and urgency. The overall ambiance kinda reminds me of Gangsta's Paradise, bringing a sense of dark grandeur to the subject matter, just replacing Coolio's basic flows about the dark side of street life with Roddy's 1001 different flows about... I don't know, just whatever the hell this song is about. This is the bop to end all bops, and as the frontrunner for 2020's Song of the Year, I could not be happier. Okay. Change of plans.
So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody,
I would now like to take another moment to reach out directly to Miss Dua Lipa of Westminster, England. First of all, Miss Lipa, I would like to congratulate you on the success of your song, Don't Start Now, on the Billboard Hot 100. It is quite rare for a song to hit a peak of number 2, much less a song of such exceptional quality as this one. As you are surely aware, I recommended this single as a song that deserved more attention in my previous video in this series, which no doubt was a not completely insignificant non-factor in the song achieving such success, for which you do not need to thank me. For I consider it more than enough thanks that you are surely planning to meet me in Los Angeles for our date on April 20th, a date which I have been dreaming about night after night. However, my dear, in the midst of a slight change of circumstance, which I shall cordially refer to as the end of the fucking world, I have determined that it is, unfortunately, no longer wise for us to meet until such a date that this crisis crisis is under control. I'm sure that you are just as devastated by this development as I am, but fret not, milady, for I am a man of my word, and I promise that we shall reschedule our date as soon as the aforementioned end of the fucking world is under control. I shall tell you the new date as soon as possible, my dear, and until that day comes, I bid you adieu. Alright, that's taken care of. The date is rescheduled, so only one more song to talk about. I did everything. Oh yeah, hold on, shit. One more thing I gotta do real quick. Just hold on a sec. Well, that's $300 I'm not getting back. But, hey, at least there's a song in the exceptional tier this week.
Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh.
I could build this one up, but I assume that we're all familiar with the concept of process of elimination, so...
And you say, as long as I'm here, no one can hurt you.
Everything I Wanted by Billie Eilish is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to be talking about it in my best hit songs of 2020 list at the end of the year, so I'm not going to be going into detail about it here. I'm only going to say one thing in this segment, and I mean this with no hyperbole whatsoever. Billy and Phineas are the next Lennon-McCartney. Godspeed, you two. So that's spring 2020 for you. We've got 1 terrible song, 0 bad songs, 4 mess songs, 2 decent songs, 6 good songs, 6 excellent songs, and 1 exceptional song. Tallying it all up, that gives us a 74 out of 100. A massive step up from the 60 out of 100 we had in the winter, and far and away the highest score of any top 20 that I have ever ranked. Like I said before, I really struggled to find the motivation to make this video, considering that the astonishing quality of pop music right now really is extremely hard to appreciate in light of everything else that's going on. But you know what? Our love for the discussion of popular music isn't less important during the crisis, it's more important than ever. Having such a rich, fascinating tapestry of artistry and culture to look into, study, and reflect on is a godsend in a time like this. I fully intend to continue digging into the lore of pop music history as much as possible while I'm stuck inside, and I hope that you all will find it entertaining, as well as finding some joy, however ironic it might be, that music has reached such an incredible high point at such a trying time. And for those of you who wanted to know what the top 20 would look like without the Uzi songs being taken out, and now, before we wrap up, let me take a brief moment to give a special thank you to the people who made this video possible, my supporters on Patreon. I'd like to give a special shout out to my $5 patrons, whose names are scrolling up the screen, as well as my $10 supporters, including Moment Reviews, Phil Merrill, Fox Navarro, Kumrai Fang, Luke Newman, Nick Cage, Mike Duggar, Liam Kinch, Flarbu, Pierre-Lou Lang, Cyril Lafande, Jeremy Sherman, Tim Shoop, Pullen Pong, and KFW. I know that we're entering scary economic times right now, and so for all of you who are able to support me, I truly cannot thank you enough. Of course, if you've been paying attention, then you'll know that now is when all of your support pays off. Over the past month, all of my patrons have been voting for any songs in the world for me to talk about as my patron pick reviews. I was originally planning to put the patron pick reviews at the end of this video, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that since the winners of the patron pick vote really aren't necessarily relevant to the season that they win the vote, it would make much more sense for me to do the patron pick reviews separately in their own video. These patron pick videos will be part of a brand new series on my channel called Grab Bag Reviews, which will allow me to take a bit more time and go into a bit more depth than I would be able to if they were just tacked onto the end of a top 20 ranking. Oh, and I've also decided that I'm going to be reviewing the top 10 songs from the vote rather than just the top 3. So, yeah, there's that. The premiere episode of Grab Bag Reviews will be premiering in the next few days, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss it. And while you're at it, I'd also really appreciate if you could leave a like and comment on this video. Not only do I love to see them, but they also really help keep the channel's visibility up. And with that out of the way, I think we're all set. Let's wrap this shit up by taking a look at...
Mike and Mary. Billie Jean. Christian Dior.
Honestly, I had more amazing options for a number 3 spot than I've ever had, and some of them probably deserve this spot more than Pop Smoke, but you know what? We gotta put some respect on this one, and not just because the artist is yet another rapper whose life was tragically cut short at the age of 20. I never listened to Pop Smoke before looking through the charts for shoutout candidates, but one listened to Dior, and I knew I'd be going back to listen through this guy's entire discography. This song is an awesome trap banger, unlike anything I've ever heard on the charts before, mixing production ideas from the British grime scene with an incredibly infectious baritone delivery. It's literally nothing but flexing and brand porn that almost never wavers off a straight G note, but damn it, he is just going all in with it. What this is a really good modern T.I. song, and a quick listen to some of his other songs tells me that this is not at all uncharacteristic for Pop Smoke. I can't wait to dive deeper into his discography, and my heart goes out to his friends and family as they're surely still feeling the pain of his loss. Rest in peace, my guy.
If I bring you home to mama, I guess I better warn ya. She falls in love a little faster than I do.
Well, it seems that after a long dead zone, we're finally starting to see a few women clawing their way back onto the country charts and making some pretty fantastic music at that. I Hope by Gabby Barrett and I Hope You're Happy Now by Carly Pearce are both pretty good, but easily the best country song on the charts right now by anyone of any gender is More Hearts Than Mine by newcomer Ingrid Andress. Similarly to the last time I recommended a country song in one of these segments, namely Marry Me by Thomas Rhett, I'm not going to tell you too much about this one because it's really just something you have to experience for yourself. There's no major plot twists like there were in Marry Me, but my description of this song as a girl telling her boyfriend everything to expect from her family and hometown when she brings him home makes it sound like a pretty by-the-numbers country ballad. And I guess it is, but it does it exceptionally well. The production is classic country and Andress has a beautiful voice, but more than anything, the songwriting and execution is what elevates More Hearts Than Mine, as it often does in country music. Even if you don't ordinarily like country, I implore you to give this one a try. It just might surprise you. Okay, why the hell does my favorite love song of the year start with a fucking Donnie Darko sample?
Pink lemonade sipping on a Sunday. Couples holding hands on a runway. They're all posing in a picture frame whilst my walls crashing down.
My journey with Sam Smith over this past year has definitely been an interesting one. If you've watched my recent videos, you'll know that I've loved everything they put out in 2019, but that comes with the caveat that those songs were very different from their 2014 and 15 stuff stylistically. I went back and checked to see if I like Stay With Me or No Good at Goodbyes or Lay Me Down, and I don't. I think they all range from obnoxious to boring as tar. And yet here we are. To Die For is a total stylistic continuation from all those songs I just mentioned, and yet it's easily the best Sam Smith song I've ever heard, and by far one of my favorite songs of 2020, hit or otherwise. The differences between this song and Smith's previous work are subtle, but they are there, namely a slightly more restrained and supple delivery, a more filled out production that complements the piano with string harmonies, and much more detailed and personal lyrics. However, I think the biggest difference is that this isn't just a miserable dirge about wailing and grief. It's a song of hope, however downbeat that hope might be. Sam isn't looking for just another fling or passing relationship. They're longing for the type of true, real, actual love that would lead two people to spend their entire lives together. And while the lyrics capture the loneliness of the search, the tone holds a genuine belief that it will happen someday, and I think that that's truly beautiful. I'm astonished and furious that this song is flopping considering how much of a radio darling Sam Smith is, so come on America, please don't sleep on this. Okay, this is normally where I do a joke pick for number 0, but there are so many legitimately fantastic songs on the charts right now that I'm just going to use this spot for a bunch of honorable mentions.
I turn into the man I used to be.
Blow your phone up and come and looking for you till I find you. You really want me to whoop the hoe that you fucking with if I find her?
Got a career and I'm very invested. Some people call it a scary obsession.
I'ma put my heart on ice, getting the best of me.
When I open his shit, bet this man down. And BOA pulling them bands out. DOA.
I turn the news on when I smell death in the air.
Lay your head out on a pillow. I'ma fuck you real slow. You can feel the hole inside of you with money, drugs, and cars.
Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Check out the premiere of Grab Bag Reviews coming soon, and don't forget to wash your hands and not French kiss strangers or listen to the president. Okay, bye!
It's the end of